Hello everyone. Hi Paint Partiers. Welcome to our weekly painting session. I'm Liza and I'm your host for Liza's Painting Parties. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. Today we'll be doing our version of this photo. So don't get scared. It looks like a little bit complex, but I'll walk you through how to go about it. Remember, the focus tonight is to capture the feeling and the colors and the movement to get like a painterly kind of vibe from this. So if you're a beginner, if you've been doing this a long time, everyone's welcome, and I'll talk you through how to go about it so we can have a really great time in capturing this really colorful, fun bird. I do not know the name of this bird, someone asked, and I replied that I'm familiar with bird names the way I'm familiar with car names, and that is by color, and that is about it. So this is a bright, colorful bird. I'm not really sure. I know maybe like 3 bird types. Blue jays, because I'm from Toronto, cardinals, because they're red, and you know, that kind of makes sense to me, and hummingbirds, because they make that humming sound. That's my extent. My knowledge on birds does not go too far, but in terms of painting, we will be able to paint this and make it look very beautiful. If anyone does know the name of this bird, feel free to write it in the comments. I'm sure other people would like to know that as well, and I would like to know as well. Anyways, so we're going to be doing this photo as a painting, and I use acrylic paints as I do every week. A few housekeeping things before we start. So I've noticed that I'm getting some lovely spammy links popping up. So there was a nice hiatus for a couple of months where it wasn't happening, but essentially there seems to be some nefarious people putting in like links for you to click, and that then they would ask you for your credit card number or whatever to watch this. So please know if you can see me, if you can hear me say it. I also put it in the notes there too, that don't click any link. If anyone's asking you, saying you have to pay this to watch this, then that's not the right spot, because you don't. It's free. All my videos are free. You're watching it now for free. If you're tuning in, you can't paint right now, but you really want to try and paint this, the recording will be up on my Facebook page under the videos tab ongoing, and I'll also be putting it onto my YouTube channel as well. So my YouTube channel is Liza's Painting Parties, and you can watch it thereafter too. So all the videos are up there. So this is Paint Party number 68. So if you enjoy it, you can feel free to check out some other ones and watch them as well. What I do ask is, if you are enjoying it and you would like to support me doing these videos, you can. There's a link for my PayPal. There's also a Buy Me a Coffee link that I posted, and you can clearly see that I posted it. So if you would like to support me that way, that would be the way to do it. But do not, I repeat, do not pay or pay for the parties, because the paint parties are all free. Okay. What else is there? All right. In terms of supplies, we'll talk about what I'll be using today. I have the list there as well, but I'll walk you through what my supplies are. They're always the same every week. And actually, before I do that, for anyone again who's new to this, let me just tell you about how all this works. So basically, every week on Saturday, I post 3 images that I find online. So I usually find them from Google searches or Pinterest or sometimes Facebook groups or random things like that. And they're all things that are inspiring and images that I would really love to paint. And I ask all of you to vote on which one you like best. And whichever one that gets the most votes by the following Tuesday at noon is the one that we claim the winner, and that will be the one that we paint on the Wednesday evenings all together. So that being said, I have never painted this before. This will be my first time painting this particular image, and I'll walk you through my steps as to how I go about doing this. And I do this because I want you all to feel empowered to paint anything you like, again, regardless on your level or your comfort on painting. If you find something that you love and you want to make your own image and your own inspiration from it, do it, and you'll see that you can make something really fabulous. If anyone is painting along and they have any tips or tricks, something that's working well, feel free to add it into the comments as well. I encourage that. So I enjoy painting, but I am by no means an official, properly educated artist in any way. I'm educated in other ways, but not specifically in art. So when I use terminology, I tend to just say big paintbrush, small paintbrush, and so forth. I have been trying to incorporate a little bit more of the terms, but that's how I approach things. So very basic beginner. All of my supplies, my paints are from the dollar store, so really accessible to anyone who wants to start painting, wants to dip their toe into it, and to feel that they like doing it. I'm just going to take a quick look just to make sure no other scammy things. I get little notifications saying when people post things, so if I see any of those scammy links go up, I try to like block them right away. It might happen in the comments, like if they find the live video, they might start being sketchy and putting them on here. So if I'm in the middle, if you see them pop up, if you don't mind just like saying, or you can report the comment, or you can just like let people know if I don't catch it right away for them not to click on it. I just don't want anyone to be scammed. So just like, let's watch out for each other if we see that happening. Okay, cool. So let's talk about supplies. So today I'm using, I've been using canvas boards a lot, but I did get a few actual canvases, and this is an 11 by 14. So I'm going to be using this one for the bird. I have my paints. So like always, if you have blue, red, yellow, black, and white, you're good to go. Your primary colors, and black and white will get you any other color that you would desire. I use, these are just crafters acrylic, so it's just paint from the dollar store. They're maybe $1 a bottle. I also have some pre-mixed orange, some pink, some purple, so I might dip into those a little bit because there's some fun colors going on in the bird, and I might want to bring that out and make it a little bit easier. But you can kind of play with it and use color combinations, and I'll walk you through how to mix the colors as well. The thing is, when we use colors, especially from the dollar store, the yellow can be very different from one yellow to another, so they're already kind of weird pigments, so you kind of have to play a little bit or be okay with the lack of control in that aspect. If that bothers you, then I would suggest investing in, again, like the primary colors and black and white of a better, higher quality paint, and you can get any of that at like a paint store. At the moment, if you're in Ontario like me, you have to still be curbside pickup. Something's open yet, but soon things will be open. Okay, so we got our paint. I have my palette, so something just so you can mix all your paints on. I have water containers. I usually have 2 available since they get pretty mucky. And then I have, I suggest using 3 paintbrushes, at least having 3. If you have more, go nuts, that's great. But I suggest having a nice large brush. So this is like a flat brush that's kind of thin on the side and flat. This one is a number 10, so I like this for like big coverage. A medium size, this one is a number 2, I believe. So it's another flat brush, but it also provides a pretty nice thin line on the side as well. And this is a thin brush. It's a number 4, but this just happens when it's really, like when it's loaded with paint, it's just a really nice thin line, and I have a good control over it. It has kind of like a grip. I got those from Amazon. I need to start putting links for the things that I use, so you can check them out if you want to. But yeah, so as long as you have utensils, I guess if you want to use utensils, any paintbrushes that you feel comfortable with using, and you like the way they feel, that's the most important thing. I really like these with like really long handles. I'm used to using them, so it's really up to you. All right, and I also have paper towel as well, so I use that quite a bit. Cool. So far, so good. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Kim. Gonna do another quick check to make sure they're not putting links in random spots. Okay, perfect. Okay, now let's have my coffee. So we'll start in about, we'll give it till about 6:05, so another 4 minutes or so, just to make sure anyone who wants to join us for tonight will have a chance to go about doing that. If you'd like to let me know where you're tuning in from, that'd be fantastic. I'm in Ajax, Ontario, which is just outside of Toronto. I grew up in Toronto. Yeah, it's been absolutely beautiful weather today, which is fantastic. That's about it. My son's very excited that school's almost done. He's been doing virtual school, so that's been a journey. And that's almost over for this year, which is very welcomed. Yeah, so hopefully all of you are doing well. If anyone else is a parent having to have your kids virtual schooled as well, I feel for you. But yeah, hopefully you're all doing well, getting ready for a nice summer, and then we'll get started very, very soon. Cool. I guess what we can do too is I'll talk through how we want to approach this. So just like with any acrylic or any painting that we do, but particularly with acrylics, I always start with whatever's furthest in the background and I will move my way forward. So the very first thing that we're going to work on is we're going to work on the background. Now the background is just lots of green. So we're going to have a nice green background. And I am going to put a little bit of white, and I want to make it a little bit more painterly. So instead of it just being like solid green, I might add a little bit of like movement and some like, so it just has some different colors happening. So I'll show you what I'm thinking, and if you're digging it, you can go about it. Otherwise, you can just make it more of a solid background color if you'd like. And then as you see at the bottom, then we have some like, again, very blurry in the background flowers happening. So I'll put those in as well. So the green starts darker at the top and it gets lighter as we go down as well. So just keep that in mind as we are painting. And then after we get that background in, so we put the green and we put in some of those like feelings of flowers happening, then I'm going to put in the branch that our bird friend is sitting on. And we'll play with where that's going to go, and then we're going to outline where we want our bird friend to be sitting, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so that's how we'll approach it today. I will keep the picture there so you can view it as we're going on. I am going to move my camera so you can see my my canvas a bit better in a little moment. Just going to double check. Okay, perfect. So I did have some issues as well with the technical stuff happening last week. Last week I lost my connection a few times. So if that happens, I will reconnect as soon as I can, and then it will give you a notification to say that you are that I'm back on, and you can take a look. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but just want to give you a heads up since it happened last week. Oh, nice. Oh, I'm sorry that you had a rough day today, doctor. That sucks, Kim. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. When you paint, definitely let me know. I'd love to see your painting. So anyone who paints tonight, please snap a picture and share it with me. If you, I usually put up mine afterwards, so then everyone can share their images and whatnot below. And I would encourage that because I think it's really nice that when we can all kind of do that together. If you don't feel comfortable sharing with the group, then please, you can just send it to me directly and I can give you feedback if you want. I really love seeing what everyone does, and I think it's so fun to see like just different techniques and styles. And I've learned a lot from you guys as well, so it's been a really fun experience this past year. That's just lapping a year now. It's crazy. All right, cool. So I think we're going to get started. I'm going to move the camera over, down. So I think we'll do it like that for now. Okay, cool. Pop my hair up, and then we will start the painting. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, hi, Joanne. I'm so glad that you're joining again. From Sudbury, that's fantastic. My stepdad, he lives very far in Northern Ontario, so we pass Sudbury when we head up that way. It's like, I think it's like a 10-hour drive from Toronto. I think it's a little town called Marathon, Ontario, and it is like a marathon to get there. We've been up a few times. The drive is absolutely gorgeous. Hi, Rula. Rula is one of the people I was speaking about. She does some beautiful work. Definitely check out some of her paintings. Absolutely gorgeous. Can't wait to see yours. No pressure, Rula. But really though, don't have pressure. But she does beautiful work. All right. And I know Valerice was not able to join tonight, but I know you're going to be watching later. So hi, Valerice, when you join. I'm happy that you'll be painting later. Valerice also does beautiful painting too. So I'm going to start. I have some pre-mixed green, and I'm just using that just to save up a bit on my other paint since I haven't been able to get replenishment as of yet. So I'm just going to use my pre-mixed green. The green I have is called Christmas Green from the Dollarama. So if you happen to have a wide variety of Dollarama paints and you have Christmas Green, that is the one I'm using right now. But more from lack of choice than from specific desire to use this one color. Look at that. It's almost empty. I'm gonna flip that one and put that guy upside down. I feel like tonight's going to be a messy paint night. I feel like I'm going to get paint everywhere. I'm usually pretty tidy about things, but some days, I tell ya. Alright, and I want to get some yellow. So if you are mixing your own green, you want to mix yellow and you want to mix blue. I would always put a little bit more yellow than blue to get kind of like a lighter green going, but I'd also like lighten up my green with the yellow as I go, just to make it come out a little bit more. I'm going to also put some white on my palette as well. My screen keeps blinking weirdly and I feel like my computer's just going to like break. And I probably shouldn't say that, it's going to jinx it, but anyways. That's about how much paint I have so far on there. Probably will need more as we go. So to start off, like I said, we're going to do the background of our canvas to get this kind of foggy background happening with the green. So I want to get my big old brush. I'm going to start off by just wetting down the canvas to start. And if you're using canvas like I am this time, it does soak up the water pretty darn quickly. So we want to move quickly to get some water on here. If you're using canvas board, like I have in the past as well, I find that it doesn't soak up, honestly makes a lot of sense, the water the same way as an actual canvas does. And what I had to have done, what I did in the past was I would put water on it and then I would end up using a paper towel just to like sop it up slightly. But I find with actual canvas, I almost have to put like more water on and be faster because it's already like dry. It's so fast. But I will just prep it up a little bit for us. So okay, just get some water on there. Hi Maggie, I'm glad you're joining too. All right, so I'm just gonna get some green and I just want to start applying some of this. So I want to just get nice coverage on my canvas. Now when I do this, I'm also not going to forget, and I want to paint the sides of my canvas as well. The tops and the sides, I'm going to do it all in this green. So when I hang it, it's nice and it looks complete. Alright, so I'm just going to get the green as we continue on. I'm so glad you're here too, Maggie. Hope you're enjoying it. Well, I mean, this is, you know, just putting green on canvas, but it can still be fun. I'm looking forward to this guy. I ended up, I did paint a bird recently. I don't know if I actually posted it on my painting party site though. I don't remember if I did or not. It's on my wall. I'll grab it at some point and I'll show you. And I was really happy with the way it turned out. It was also from a photo. It's also quite a colorful bird as well. And I had a lot more fun with it than I thought I was going to, which is why I chose these bird options this week. So I thought, okay, well that was a lot easier than I had anticipated and a lot more fun. So I thought it'd be a fun thing for all of us to try together. So I was a little intimidated about them at first. So I'm going quickly just to get the green on here. I am going to cover my whole canvas. I'm still going to block it where I want the bird afterwards. I'm going to use white to do that. But I like just to do this way, just so I don't have to worry about, it's like a big clump of dried paint. So when you use dollar store paint, you know, it's definitely dollar store paint. You get clumps of things. Maybe that happens with more expensive paint too. I wouldn't know. So I'm going to start putting some yellow down here just to lighten it up a little bit as I go, just a bit. I'm not going to do the bottom just yet. I just have it slightly lighter at the bottom there. Okay, but I do want to bring some of this yellow a little bit higher in my painting, and I just want it to kind of give this green up again. Let's bring my brush. I'm kind of doing like big like X's, and I'm moving pretty quickly just to mix wet on wet paint. Just kind of have like a nice, it looks kind of like when your camera is making the background not very focused. I'll put a little bit of white here too, actually. I want to play with some of this. Okay. I'm just going to put a little bit of white in here too. I just don't want it to be fully solid green. I want it to have like a little bit of feeling like maybe there's like blurry trees in the background or something. We can't really see from here, you know? It's a bit more yellow too. Okay, so I think I got it where I kind of want it. Just a nice background. I'm gonna have to like kind of look at it from a bit of a distance to make sure I don't have any weird canvas spots still sticking out. That likes to pop up every so often. That's a bit more clump of dried paint. Like that. Okay, nice, pretty. On the side is looking a bit funky. I'm just going to add a little bit more to the side. Books. All right. Nice blurry green background going on, which is nice. Okay, so I want to start putting in some of my background flowers. Just gonna clean off that big brush for now because I'm gonna move and use my medium brush to do this part. I'm not exactly sure how I want these flowers to live. I don't know how I want them to look. So we're gonna play a little bit and see how it turns out. Might turn out nicely, it might not turn out nicely, I don't know. Alright, so they look almost like some daffodil kind of vibes going on. So I'm not gonna worry too much about that. And then we're just gonna put in a couple little strokes to get some flower vibes. This one I'm just putting two little lines, and it's also a little bit more curved. I'm going to probably have to put some more yellow after this paint dries a bit more. At the same time, I wanted it to be a bit wet just to see how I liked this. Because again, it's just to give us that feeling of them existing in the background. I'm just giving some flower shapes, kind of in the same spots that I can see them on the photo reference. Okay. I'm using just yellow on the flowers, Diane. So I'm just putting just yellow just to put kind of where they're living. Because I'm not exactly sure how much detail we want to give them. And there's like some more yellow in the background here. But my canvas is still a little wet. It's dried off quite a bit in this spot. But it's still a little wet. So the green's still coming through my yellow. So I probably have to put a little bit more if I want the yellow to stay on a lot stronger. But for right now, I just want to kind of plot out where I want them to be, and then we can play with if we like the way they look where they're at. Now I want to get some kind of ideas of stems happening. So I'm just mixing a bit of yellow into my green to get kind of a lighter green, just to start putting in where these stems could exist. Oh, someone's calling me. I can't answer you. I'm on a paint party. Put like little leaves. Okay. I'm just putting in just some little lines. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can kind of see them. So just kind of like hints of where, that one, I don't know if they're going to get any because I can't even see any little lines happening there. And it looks like there's like a bud or something here. So I'm just going to put like a green circle-y shape to make it look like a bud of some sort. And there's more leaf or something. I guess they come up on this flower. Okay. And we need to get some more happening here. The stem's going to go off that way, I think. And this one's going to come like that. Oh, they look not that great right yet. Not super happy with them yet, but that's alright. We'll just keep building and going from there. Okay, so putting a little bit of green at the bottom. A little, like a little torn as to how much detail I want on this. That's why I feel like we want them just to be kind of blurry in the background, but at the same time, if they don't have that much form to them on a painting, it might just look weird. So I might start off that way And I might scrap it all together, or I might make them way more prominent as we keep going, because I don't know. I'm just going to put a bit more yellow on this because you can see the green a lot coming through. But I might like move on from this area, because this is an area that we can kind of play with and work on when other spots need a little bit of time to dry. So I think I might do that momentarily. Just going over them with yellow again, just to make it a bit more opaque. So they were very, see the green quite a bit. Okay, so you just have some yellow happening there. And there are some purple as well. But again, like I said, I don't know if I want to add that in now or later. You know what? Yeah, I think I'm gonna play with that later, I think. Yes, I'm gonna play with it later. Okay, so I think right now I want to plot in where I want that tree branch to live. So this tree branch, my head's like, oh, it's brown, but it's not really. It's more of like there's a lot of black in it. There's a little bit of brown that I can see. And there's obviously this like mossy, yellowy, green, a lot of yellowish kind of happening on here. A little bit of green, I guess, back there. So let's play with that. So I'm going to add some black to my palette. Okay, I'm going to add brown. If you need to mix brown, you basically mix all three primary colors together equal amounts. So you mix red, blue, and yellow equal amounts, and you'll get brown. And then you can, once you mix all three of the same amount together to get that brown, you can then play with it a little bit on the hue. Like if I prefer to put a bit more yellow into it, and I think it just comes out a little bit nicer. Sometimes I do prefer a bit more red into it. It just depends on what you're going for. Okay, I still have white, I still have some yellow, I still have some green. Okay, I think I'm going to stick with this for now. And I'm going to use my medium brush to plot this in. Okay, so what color am I going to use to just plot this in first? I think I'm going to go right in with like my brown and my black and mixing them together just to get kind of a really dark brown. Doesn't really matter because we're going to be playing with this branch a lot. Okay, so let's see. So this branch kind of is the top line of the branch. If we look at it on our canvas, this is obviously, this picture is a lot longer than my canvas is. So you'll have to decide how you want, or where you want it to sit. So what I do want to keep in mind is I want that tail to still come below wherever the branch is. So I think the bottom of my branch, the lowest will go about here, and then it will come to about there. So I think I want it to kind of curve, and it doesn't have to be exactly the same. It's just to give you a guide based on what we're seeing in that reference image. Maybe a bit lower than that, actually. Maybe like this. It's a nice thick. Make it thicker here-ish. So that's where that branch is going to be more or less. Yeah, Kim has a really good point. She says maybe after it dries, add more yellow and then some white in the center, and maybe the white to make leaves. I agree. Like that's what I'm kind of thinking. Like I started making it to try to have it like blend in the background, but I feel like I'm going to want to make it more like prominent flowers. So I think I will be going that route. I'm just going to step away from it for a little bit and do something else and then go back to it once we kind of play with this part a bit more. Okay, so now let's start putting in the texture and the color here of this branch. So I'm just using the black and the brown, and I just want to start filling in this area with these colors. I should do the size of the canvas too. I'm just going to put in that, and then I'm going to put in that mossiness afterwards. Okay, so there is the branch there. Oh no, that makes sense, Kim. I get what you're saying. Kind of just make that emphasize the petals more. Okay, so now we have nice dark brown branch that's living there. Okay, so I want to start putting in a little bit of feeling, a little bit of make it feel like there's some ridges and stuff happening. So I'm just using a little bit of, I just put a little bit of white, and I'm just kind of dabbing my brush slightly on the side just to give a little bit of texture onto the branch. And there's a little bit of light texture here too, I'm noticing. And then I see a little bit here too. Okay. Ooh, that might be a little bit too much. Okay, dokes. All right, and then everything's really dark down here. It's pretty dark up here, but then we have that mossy feeling. All right, let's put that in. Okay, so do I want to use this brush or my thinner brush? I'm gonna use yeah, so still my medium-sized brush, but I'm just using my number 2 instead of my number 4 brush. So I'm just gonna get some yellow on my brush, and I'm just going to start like dabbing in a little bit of like how I want this texture of this mossiness to look like and to feel like on this branch. So trying to have it come up, something like that or so. Okay, and a bit lighter on the top. I'm just using this yellow. It's kind of more of like a green, realistically, but we'll use yellow first, and then we'll build from there. I'm gonna put a little bit of more yellow, like in this area here. Okay, and then yeah, looks like a weird growth to me. Okay, and then let's make some yellowy green happen. Okay, I'm just gonna keep dabbies. I'm just moving my brush a bit because I don't want it to be like a stamp. I'm trying to give it like texture that looks a bit more natural, like not just weird dotty things, or worst case like straight lines kind of. Okay. I'm going to get a little bit of brown too, I think, and just put it in my yellow, just so I can get a bit of darker kind of like shadow on some of this, and I'm going to paint over it a bit just to give it like a bit of a base first. Yep, and then I'm going to get some yellow and kind of mix that up. So I don't want that brown to be prominent, but I do want it to kind of be used so I can make the other things pop a bit. Okay, put some more yellow. Okay, and we have like some moss kind of hanging off too. Like a little bit hanging off like over here. It's a little bit too bright. Let's dull that down. I need that even darker. It looks a little bit scruffier. I think I want to do a little bit of black just to a little bit of shadow in little spots here. Alright, so I think that's how I'm doing that mossiness bit over there. And there's a little bit happening over here too. That's more green. It's like a darker green. I'm just gonna dab that in. Okay, dokes. I'll put a little bit black in here, just so. Okay, and then a little bit of yellow. Just a little bit, and also I'm trying to get to feel like all these little dots of color, almost using like pointillism to make it feel like there's a lot of little detail happening. But I'm trying to do that with just like a little tip edge of my paintbrush. It's a little tricky sometimes because then sometimes it just looks like a stamp and I don't want it to look super uniform, otherwise it's not going to look as natural as I would like it to. At the same time, that can be a technique too, where instead of making it look as natural as possible, you can kind of have more of a cartoony type spin to it. That could work too. But I don't think I want to go that route. All right, so I think pretty happy with it overall. I'll show it a little bit closer so you can see like my ugly kind of moss kind of look. But again, it just kind of captures that look of the moss that's on the photo. So it has just like different flecks of color. and it's not uniform. So it's not like a stamp, it's just like moving my brush around in a bunch of different ways and angles so I can get that. And I have it up here too, just a little bit darker. And then we will start on the bird, our lovely bird friend. Okay, so with this bird, and I think I'm still probably going to go back and do the flowers, but let's work on the bird first, and if I have time I'll go back to the flowers. If not, then I'll do them afterwards or whatnot. Okay, so a few things. What am I noticing? I'm noticing that there's a bit of a nice like glow coming from, which I don't really have yet. So I don't know if I want to put that in, if I'm just going to keep going. I kind of want to put it in a little bit. It's not always the best thing to do once you've already like kind of finished that area, but I am taking the chance. So I'm going to make this a little bit lighter in the background. I just put some yellow on my brush, and I wet my brush a bit. And I'm just going to start to kind of outline where I made my tree. And then I'm just going to get green and then mix it into the green. Just so I can get that kind of yellowish glow that's happening from our reference image. And I think that looks a lot nicer. I just need to put that in. And then the way I'm doing is I'm putting the yellow, and then I'm getting green, and then I'm just mixing it in to the background. Just a bit of a glow there. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side too. It's going to be a little trickier because I made this kind of mossiness here happen, so we'll see, we'll see. Put in some yellow. Okay, there we go. I'm going to make it green. I'm just going to blend that in. Touch the green now and blend it in a little bit just to get that bit of a glow. Oh, thank you, Kim. I want it to become yellow up a little bit higher. Like that. Yeah. You can just see like a bit of a glow on your side of us right now. I will bring it closer so you can actually see the color once I have got what I want. On the sides of it as well. Oh, don't go away. We need you. Okay. And green. Okay. So I just put a little bit of yellow in the background just to give it kind of that glowy vibe. So we have a bit of that glow happening. Again, probably for more flowers and whatnot. But I think it adds to the composition quite a bit. So I wanted just to re-add that back in before I started doing our bird friend here. Okay. So what I'm going to do with our bird friend is I'm going to sketch him out in white paint, and then I'll be painting on top of that with all the colors and whatnot. I guess I could also potentially use yellow instead. Maybe I'll do yellow instead, actually. No, I think I'm going to use white. I don't know. No, I'm going to use white. Yeah, we're going to use white paint as the base. Okay. So I'm just going to get my medium brush and I'm going to get my white paint. Got a little dry. It's been hanging out for a while. I've kind of been ignoring it. Okay. So let's decide where we want our bird to live. So it's all basically we're going to have to just like kind of say, okay, so like let's look at the size of the bird in relation to the picture. So there's a few things again. So the actual like length of this is a lot skinnier and longer than my canvas is right now. But I do want it to be, I think his head's probably going to be about there and his tail would be about there. I'm thinking what I want it to be. So let's start smaller and then we can build him out a little bit bigger. This part will come pretty thin for the tail. So I'm thinking like top of his head is kind of in the center of the canvas, close to the top. There's his head here. Okay, and then just to give us a feeling, so his beak. I don't know. I kind of want to do his beak, but I also kind of don't yet. Okay. So I'm gonna have to start here, kind of like this, kind of more like feathers. Think of feathers. And this part kind of comes out more on a curve, kind of like that. And this comes down and the feather here is going to come down and it's going to meet this guy here, about there. Yeah. And then we have the other part of it that's going to come down. Okay. It's a little bit over a bit more than what I would have wanted, but maybe it will change up a little bit once we continue to build him out. Okay, so I'm just going to fill him all in. You know what, I might change my brush just so I can fill it out faster. I'm just going to do the more thinner areas. And then I think I'm going to change my brush just so I can get white coverage faster on that. But I think I do want to put in his beak. I feel like my guy's a little bit more slender than the one we have on here. I think he needs to be a bit bigger. I do. I think this needs to come up more. I think it needs to be more like this. More of a puff chest. I think it has to be more like that. Yeah, I think so. And I think his head and his beak is going to come up. I'll have to use a thinner brush to get that more exact detail. Alright. Okay, so I'm just going to switch my brush and use a bigger brush just to get it fully painted in white. Ghost bird. Okay, so that's where this bird is going to live, more or less. I might still play a bit more with the feathers when we start putting all the colors on. But for now, I'm happy with the way it looks, more or less. I'm going to do the beak a bit. It's a bit thicker to the base here, and I'm going to make that point a bit more prominent, but I won't do that right now with the white, just to give us a good guide to work on. And it looks like I should carry the moss over more so that it comes like under where our bird friend is. So I think I'm going to do a little bit of that while the white paint dries. So I'm going to just continue on with that moss. So I'm going to get some more of this yellow and just like dabby dabs all the way over. Yeah, that makes more sense, doesn't it? Definitely need to be a bit more green. And some brown. Yeah, that works a little bit better. I need a little bit of black to get this moss going a bit more impactful. Impactful moss. I feel like it's like camouflage. It has a camouflage vibe to it, eh? but I'm digging it. Yeah, I think that is better. Bringing that over like that makes more sense. It looks more like the original image. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Okay. Alright. Not too bad. Another sip of coffee before we start playing. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, I did another bird painting before, and I really enjoyed painting the leaves and whatnot. So this is the painting I did before. So it has like lots of texture in like how feathers, lots of colors. It looks kind of crazy, but it's really fun to do. And we have to play, and that's the kind of vibe I want to have. This kind of like feathery, all the colors happening. There's this particular bird obviously has a bit more structure to some of its feathers than the other one I did, which will be fun to do. But that's what we're going to try to capture, is that kind of like fun, colorful vibe. That's what we are going to be doing. Okay, and can't really even see his eye, but I found like after I put the eye in this one, it like really popped. So it depends. I can't really see his eye too much, but I might end up like adding it just so it like can pop the same way, right? Because I feel like that just made it come together. Thank you, Kim. Yeah, that was a really fun one. That was the one I thought, okay, well, birds are actually quite fun. I wasn't really convinced prior to it. Okay, so let's think about, you can kind of start anywhere really, but I think I want to approach it again similarly to how I approach most of our paintings. Let's do the things in the background first. So I think I want to start off with this tail. So this tail is not very like feathery, like as you know, fluffy as the ones up here. It's actually very like elegant, and there's some nice color. The color is kind of like a blue-green kind of vibe, like a jade or like a, I don't know, turquoise, more like a jade or almost something like that. So I need to get some blue. And I have a blue called Copenhagen blue, and I also have one called Tropical blue, and I'm going to play with both of them. The Tropical blue is a very light, like a very bright, almost like a raw, like a sky blue, and the Copenhagen blue is a very like, it's a dark one. I'll show you it in just a moment. I need to replenish my yellow, so let's get some more yellow on here. I'm just going to get the paint going on my palette, and then I'm going to get more green happening. I'm going to put some red on here too. Definitely want to play with that. I think I'm going to get my pre-mixed orange as well, just because this might be easier as we go through to have it already mixed. Okay. Don't really. Okay, so that's what my palette looks like right now. So I have tons of the colors ready to go on there. Nice big globberoonies of each. Alright, so I would say pick the brush you feel most comfortable with. If it's your thinnest one, go for it. I'm going to use my medium size, but my number 2 medium, so it's a little bit thinner than the number 4 one I have. It has good control, but it still ends up being like it's a flat brush. But then if I put it to the side, it gives me like a very fine fine line as well. So it can give me lots of coverage there, but it's also kind of fine. So I do like this type of brush quite a bit. So my first thing I want to do is I want to figure out what kind of color I want to use for that, which is kind of a green, but I still want to put maybe some blue in it, just because it's a bit more vibrant. Has a bit more blue in it, it looks like to me anyways, but it's still more on the green side. So I'm mixing some green, I'm mixing some blue, And I just put a little bit of white to lighten it, which might have been a mistake actually now that I'm looking at it. I'm just going to put more blue into it and then just mix it up and see what happens. It has a gray vibe to it, but you know what? I'm going to go with it. Okay. So right now I just want to like fill in the color here. So this part, this feather part, kind of like you're painting or you're coloring, like a coloring book, a bird coloring book. I'm just going to follow these lines here. Okay. And I'm just going to start putting in this color in its tail. So it's just, that's just a solid color of it, so it's not super exciting. I do want it to come up. And we see that color is kind of repeated up in here, so there's a little bit of this color still on this part here. So I'm just bringing my brush back and forth just to bring that color in here. And I'll start getting that color happening up there too. And it comes up a bit around here. Okay, nice. All right, so there's a few things with this tail that isn't just this one solid color. So we have a few little things happening here. So there's definitely a little bit of lightness happening on this side. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow into it to make it a little bit lighter, and I'm just going to make a section here. It's a little bit lighter. So I'm just going to bring it down like that. I just lightly touched it to make it a little bit lighter on that one side. And it's a little darker on this side here, so I'm going to go back and get a little bit more blue. Oh, not enough. There we go. And I'm just going to bring it down in this here. Let's put a little line on that side like that. Nothing too fancy. Okay, but I am going to put a few little lines of this blue, just kind of kissing it so that it doesn't look like a solid piece. There's like little bits to that. Kind of looks more like that. Okay, good. And then there's almost like a little bit of like, I don't know, I feel like I can see some orange or something like kind of popping in very lightly. I'm going to try it. I'm going to see what happens. I'll do it, and if you like it, go for it. If you don't do it. I'm just going to go a little bit, just touch it with orange. I'm going to put a little bit down there. Okay, and then I want to go back and get that color I made initially for the base, and I'm just going to go back in now that I have these other lines of color, and I'm just going to touch in the space that that color already exists, like that kind of initial teal, and then just like bring it back in a little bit more. I feel like I need a bit more green up to the top there. See it that well. There's like so many colors happening in here. It's really pretty. Okay, so that's what I have for the tail. So it just has a couple. I'm looking at the colors and I was putting little strokes of it in to get the vibe of it. My tail is not as like pointy. I don't think it's that one. Maybe I need to bring it down a little bit more. I'm just going to get my thin brush just so I can do that. Just make that happen. Kind of like that. Okay. Make sure I don't have paint just sitting on my brush because that will ruin them. Okay. So that's the first guy there. Now I want to get the next part there. So I know it's a little darker. It's under this area. So I'm just going to add that. Have a nice separation between the one and the other. So I'm just like bringing a thin line across and then I'm just slightly pulling it down so it looks like a shadow from the wing that we haven't made yet. So you'll see that's just like a slight line and then I just pulled it down a little bit. Okay. My brush is really dry when I'm doing this. I'm putting a little bit of paint. I'm not putting a big globberoonie on it. It's like just a little bit. And then I'm making that line with the little bit of paint. And then I'm pulling it down. I'm not adding anything more to it. And that's just making it very soft. And then it's making the edge kind of blend in with the other one. So it's not like super harsh, right? Because we don't want that. Okay, so now let's play with the next kind of layer. So I would say the next layer is this kind of jade, again, color that's happening. It's a little bit lighter here, it gets a little bit darker into this black. And then we have this kind of gray, dark gray happening. So we're going to play with that, I think, is the next step. But really, we could go anywhere, and we can always go back and forth on this a lot. So if you want to jump in and start putting in some of those yellows and oranges, we could do that too. When I say that, I kind of want to. But no, I think I'm going to stick with the plan, and I'm going to go and do my jades. Okay, so I'm just going to follow that line. So just get rid of the white, essentially, that we had initially put in as a guide. I'm going to put in this jade, calling it jade, I don't know, it has a jade vibe to it. Making it a little bit more solid in that area there. I do want it to go a little bit further out that way. I do want it to carry. Okay. And then now I need to darken it. I'm gonna put a little black. Black is so powerful, it just like takes over. I put a little dab and all of a sudden everything's super black. I don't want it to be super black. I do want it to be very dark though. Let's start there and then we'll go. Okay, so what am I seeing? I'm seeing that it's too dark. I'll have to re-lighten it up afterwards. It's fine though. Yeah, like way too dark. Lighten it up afterwards. I'm just gonna do it right now because I can't handle it. Okay. It definitely has to be lighter. It's better. Okay, but now let's go back. So I need to get bring my darkness back. Okay. So bring here. I'm seeing that there is some, it's like dark kind of as you come up this curve. I'm just going to bring it up and start giving that feathery vibe to it. I need a little bit more darkness to that, please. Let's see some darkness up here. Okay, so I want to get a little more black in there. So now I'm just going to go in with some black and just put in a few little lines of black in this mix of color that we just did here. I'm seeing there's a bit of a separation here. It's very prominent, so I'm just going to add a little bit more black there. And it's looking like a little bit like here, I would say. Maybe like here. I think with the detailing on that part of the feather, like at that back tail, I'm gonna have to use like a thinner brush and do more like that way. But for now, I just want to play a little bit with the darkness. Okay, now let's see where else we have. I want to start putting in some more of the dark color. I kind of do. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I think I want to put in his beak. Okay, let's not move around too much, shall we? I want it to be a little thicker than what it is. I do want it to be a little bit lighter on that top part of the Okay, so I just made it a little bit lighter, and then I made it a little darker there. Hi, Jody. Just woke up from a long nap. Nice. You know, today is one of those days I feel. I slept really well last night, and for a good chunk of time, too. And, yeah, like I felt like I could have just fallen asleep. I've been really cozy all day today. It was a strange vibe, and it was still like really nice outside. It wasn't like overly hot, like nothing like that. It was just, it's like one of those days where, yeah, I might as well, like, maybe, yeah, we all should have just been sleeping. You did the right thing, Jody. Making that point of that beak a bit more. Boom. My thinner brush. So the beak, I just made it a little lighter on the top, like ever so slightly. I might still lighten up a little bit more after, but for now I'm okay with it. All right. I also feel like the beak probably should have been, like I gave him too much of a head. Should have been more like there, I suppose. C'est la vie. Okay. Now let's play with some more stuff. Where should we go next? I don't know. There's some of that, there's some like black happening, and then there's some of that blue still happening. Okay, which one do I want to go with? I'm still feeling I want to use this brush. So I'm going to go with this blue. It's kind of a crazy bright blue, but I'm seeing some brightness here. So I'm just going to go with it. It's that peacock blue, and I'm just going to start feathering him up. Yeah, there you go. There's some feathers, buddy. What do you think about that? Boom! Feathers! Okay. And then you've got some blue around your neck here-ish. Not sure. It's gonna make a little... It looks like it kind of goes straight. And then it kind of goes down. Kind of like that somehow. But then we'll plot it in and then we'll play with it. Okay, so we've got some little feathers happening there. I'm just going to put some darker blue, a little bit, in here too. And then I need to get some black and go on top of that. That's what I need to do right now. Okay, because the black, you are sneaky. You have a few little black feathers. Pop it on through. Alright, so that's how that looks there. Can't really see the featheriness of that blue against the green. Ooh, maybe like that. Maybe that's a little better. I might put a little bit more of that lighter blue now. Let's do that now. Why not? I think I might lighten it a little bit with white. Just to make it stand out a bit more from the background. Yeah, I like that a bit more. I gotta keep him fluffy. I'm trying to like straighten up his fur, and I have to make sure he stays fluffy. Alright, that's a little better, I think. Let's add a little bit of white to that blue, and it makes it pop a bit more. Alright, cool. And this is going to be a play. We're going to be adding the colors, making it fluffy, looking at it, deciding if we want it to be more fluffy or less fluffy or what we're doing, and kind of go back and forth that way. Okay, and I'm looking at this tail too. It still has a lot of like white popping in, and I don't know if I want to keep that as is or whatnot. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you think he looks It looks good, Jody. I appreciate it. It's definitely fun. The feathers, this part is very fun to paint. Okay, so now where do we want to go next? I don't know. I guess we can put in some of that orangey, reddy orangey plume. I like that word. Okay. So we have some orange vibes happening all up in here. And it kind of comes and around. Okay. Alright, it's nice and bright and fun. Just going to clean off my brush a bit, and I'm just going to go and just get my pure orange and just add a little bit more, covering up my white background because I don't want the white to show. Okay. And then I'm going to go with my red, and again go over all the little areas. I can still see the white poking through, and just like touch them up. A little bit of red. Okay, so that's my reddy orangey section. I might still play around with it and touch it up again. So that's kind of the vibe I got. So it's not just like pure orange, it has variations. I use like a red orange to start as a base, and I use my regular orange to fill in some of the white gaps, and then I use my red to fill in more of those white gaps. So it's just like a play with all the colors to make it look like that, you know? Okay, I'm going to get a little bit of black now and put in, there's like a little bit of a black like feather that kind of comes down this way. And there's somewhere here. Maybe I'll add more in after, but for now, still want to get a little bit of that happening. Yeah. Ooh, he looks good. He looks good. Okay. All right. So, where are we going next? I think I want to do the under base here and put this kind of, there's still more I want to do there too, but I want to play with that. So, go back to my blue, mix some green and blue to get my jade kind of vibe happening. I want that one to be a little bit lighter. Do I like that color? I think so. We'll try that and we'll go from there. Okay, so here we have some feathers coming down this way. Okay. And this kind of comes like here, more or less, and then it kind of comes up. Kind of like that. It swoops down because there's more yellow happening like here-ish. No, higher. Where do we need that one to go? We need it to come up like there, maybe. And we want it to stop maybe like there. That is what we want. And these have nice little plateaus. All these feathers kind of come together nicely. I'm just giving like 3 layers. What's happening here? And I need this to come up. Okay, so I think I want to use my thin brush. And you know what? I don't want to use it yet. Yeah, I know I am. Yeah, we're doing that. We're doing it. Okay, so let's start with like my darker blue to put in a little bit of these levels. So there's definitely like a level like here, and then it comes up. Maybe it's not so much like that actually. Yes, I'm using my finger to erase it. Okay, it comes more like that, I think. It kind of comes up and then it kind of goes out. No, it doesn't. Nope, I'm wrong. Okay, 1 second. Let's clean that up, shall we? Full on erase it. Let's paint over it. Okay, let's try that again. Need to get that jade kind of color back again. Okay, oops, that's a lot of paint on that brush. I need you to come back. Okay, so I think we need this to come down a bit more. There we go, that's better. It's a better shape of it. Or a point. Okay. That is what I was missing. Okay, so now that I have that happening, this is going to come down in that kind of point and then come up that way. That's better. Okay. Okay, and that's going to happen up there too. So I have to come down. And then there it kind of goes up and then it kind of comes out again. And it like disappears. And that comes up and then disappears. It kind of has little lines like that happening. But we don't want it to be super straight like that. I want it to blend in and make it look like it's getting a shadow off of the feathers that are below it. So I'm just going to pull that line I just made down a little bit just to mess it up a bit. And 1, 2, yeah, that's all we have there. Okay, good. Okay, but then I think I want to make it a little bit darker with the black. And just touching it with the black. Okay. And then now I want to play a bit with the color on there. So that's the jade color, but I want it a little bit lighter here. So I'm just getting it a little bit lighter, and I just want to put in a bit of that color. Using my thin brush, I have to go back and get a lot of paint constantly because it does not hold much paint. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing up here. Okay, and I'm going to get my jade color back, and I'm just going to put it back in the mid-range. Jade, and put that back in, and then I want that jade color down here for sure, but I wanted a little bit of white, just highlighting it slightly at the bottom here, just like a kiss, a little. Ooh, that would have been a French kiss. That wasn't, it's too much. Dull that out a little bit, shall we? Okay, not bad. It's giving it some nice depth, it seems. So yeah, I'll show that a bit closer so you can kind of see how it looks. So I just have light lines, and then I have a bit of darkness there. I still need to play with this down here because it has too much white showing, so I'm going to be doing that too. But there we go, and there's a bit more green coming in to here, so I'm going to add a bit more green. Like on this side, I'm going to do it with my fine brush, and I'm just going to put in a little bit of green on this side. Yes. I don't know what is going on downstairs in my house. I don't know. Last week they were making popcorn without me. This week it sounds like they have like giant elastic bands. I don't know what is going on. But I don't think they have giant elastic bands, but that's what it sounds like. I have no idea. Weird family. Okay. All right. So that is some pretty feathers happening there. So where else are we going to go with this dude? Okay, so I want to go back here and fill in some of that, and also want to add a bit more. So this has to be a little bit lighter. All the way down. But there is also some nice little feather separations here too. So I want to put that in. I don't know what's going on downstairs. Oh, it's so distracting to me today. Okay. So I'm just going to put a few little lines like that. And I need to get my black to emphasize some of these. Maybe they're skipping. Could that be a skip rope? Sounds like something my husband and my son would do when I'm busy doing something downstairs. Like, yeah, let's play skip rope. Sounds about right. pretty sure that's what it is. Okay, so I just want to add now a bit more black to this here. Okay, and then I'm going to add, what, I don't even know, it's like a really dark gray. Yeah, it's definitely a skipping rope. Downstairs. Oh, yes. So I'm just getting some like dark gray and just trying to put in a few more lines so I can't see the white that's poking through on this side. So I want to get that happening. And then there's also more black, so I'm just putting in a little bit more black in certain areas. And trying to give it that kind of feathery look as well. Like short lines like that. And we need to have a nice underline here. To get that some separation and depth. Okay, cool. And then we also have it around here. Black. Okay. Still not 100% the way I like it on that tail feather. It's almost like a pure like straight line almost that goes down here. Maybe. Yep. Looks strange like close up, but it makes sense from a bit of a distance, so that's cool. All right. Hope everyone's still hanging on and enjoying everything. All right, let's continue on. So there's some more blue that's happening here. Excuse me, but I think I want to play a little bit with the orange and the yellows that are top here. So I'm going to go right in with yellow, and I want to put in this feather, which I know is more orangey, but we'll adjust as we go. Just want to pop in this color. I do need a little bit of orange in here, so let's start putting it in on top of this yellow. It kind of comes out a little bit here. I want that to be more yellow though, not so orangey. Putting some more yellow and putting it right on top of it. Okay, I think I'll use some white to emphasize the yellow a little bit more and make it lighter on certain spots. So I want to put in a little bit, tips. Let me put some more yellow back in. I don't want to go too far with some of the white, I think. Okay, that's the yellow. I keep putting my head in the light. My apologies. Put it up for now, and I might still feel like it's very orangey up here, but I think it needs to be like a little orangier here. It's a little darker from where the photo looks. Until that was a really dark area there. Okay, and I want to get more yellow now. And a little bit more white. Okay, cool. Now, where shall we play next? I think I want to go up here and do this little piece there of the yellow, and it's a little orangey too, I suppose. So let's just get the shape of it. So it's going to come down. No, we need you. Don't go away, my reference image. So it kind of comes down like this. Okay, cool. So, oh, my air conditioner came on and my toe is freezing right now. Okay, it's like right out on one of those grates, you know? Okay, so it's gonna have some black under it, but we want to have that happening. Okay, so let's get some white. I noticed a little bit of white in here, and a little bit up here. I'm gonna bring that down a bit, and I see a little orangier, like here. In this area, so I'm touching it a little bit there. Let's back and get some yellow, and just mix and have a nice gradient happening one side to the other. So just a little bit lighter on one side, a little bit orangier there. And again, I might still touch it up a little bit more. I think I will. I want to put like a little bit orangier up here, I think. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So next is rivets. There's a lot of black happening. Some reds, some oranges. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go right into my red orange. I want to play a little bit with some of the coloring that's happening up here. So let's just start putting in a little bit of these, which we're going to end up changing up the color a bit after. Just putting in like little strokies of putting in that. Okay, and then I want to get it to be more orange. No, we actually want it to be more like darker actually, so I'm going to put orange first and then we'll turn more yellow in it. Getting the excess paint off my brush. I like to use the same brush, but I still need to take some of the paint off as I go. And then there's more yellow. It's yellowier here. Come back and put in a little bit of brighter red in here. Okay, and we're going to put in a little bit more of that brighter here. Okay, I need to get a bit more yellow, kind of like touching outside of that here. Okay, I need more of that red. Nope, I need to clean off that brush a bit more. More of this red. I need to be more impactful. Oh, I put a little bit too much on my brush. Okay. This guy's looking pretty cute. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit of brown, I think, before I get into like some blacks, because it looks like it goes a little bit of brown happening, I think. I'm feeling some brown. So I love this brush because even though it's wide, it gives me such a thin point, so I can get all those little like strokes. That's a little bit, there's a little like shade here, so I'm going to put that in that brown as well. Right in that little crevice there. And I'm going to do the same thing, just touch like in this area. I'm just going to touch a little bit, little bits, a little bit on this side here. The brown was the missing component. I should have put a little bit. The brown actually works really nicely. It's tying everything together really good. Yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah, baby. Cool. Oh, it's so cute. I don't even like birds. I'm not like a bird fan at all. But this guy is so cute. Digging him. Oh, he's so beautiful. Okay, cool. They kind of freak me out, to be honest. Like, not too much of a fan of them. But this is turning out nice. I like hearing them. Like, I love when they're singing. I love hearing them outside. But they kind of freak me out a little bit. Okay. There's still more to do. Where else am I going to go? I want to still put in, there's still some blue that we didn't put in on this side here. So I'm going to pop that in. And that kind of has the same swoopiness as the other side. Okay, that's good. Thanks, Nicole. Yeah, it's turning out pretty good. Quite happy with him. Okay, I'm going to get some dark blue. The paint is wet, so when the paint is wet and you want to have another color that stays on, is more prominent, you have to kind of keep re-adding it back on your brush because it's just going to blend in way too easy with the wet paint that you have happening. I'm going to add that a little bit like that. I think I need to use my thinner brush just to add a little bit of the other color, like the kind of teal color that we had before, just to make sure that still exists a bit on this guy. I mean, it is lighter here too, but I still think it needs to be here a bit. Okay, and it's also kind of like a greenish bit happening right here. Let's add that in too. All right. All right, so let's move from there. I think, no, actually I still want to put in a little bit of black in this area. So there is a bit happening like in here. And a little bit there, and a little bit more like that. Where else? Let me see. Yeah, and there's a bit happening here. Just a little bit there. That black line is a little too solid for my liking. I'm just gonna mess it up a little bit. I think that's nicer like that. Okay, so where else are we gonna go from here? Well, I'm seeing a few little gaps in my feathering. Little smears of black got in there. I don't like that. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay. Okay, this probably needs to be a little bit darker up here too, but let's put in more. So let's get the black, and let's plot in. I can't even see his eye. It's ridiculous. Okay, so this part comes down like kind of like that, and then it kind of comes out a little bit like this, and then kind of like that, and then it kind of comes around, and then there's like black kind of like in here. We'll see how this guy goes. And then from here, it's kind of straight. It is like a little fluffy, but the line's almost like properly done, like mascara or something. That's the vibe I'm getting. And this is pretty much filled in. Okay. I do want to make it a little like messy, like as if it's like feathery, so I'm just gonna touch it a little bit so it's not just like straight, super duper straight line. Okay, it's a little messier. It's better that way. And then we have some more black happening. So we have a little bit more kind of coming down this way. And it kind of comes down around this guy and down. And then we have a little bit more coming here and around this way. I think I have to put the yellow on top of it again. So it looks like it's actually under. The yellow. It looks like he's wearing like a weird mask. Okay, that's cool. There needs to be more blend happening. It's definitely darker. A few creative liberties here. Bring that out more. Yeah. And then I'm going to get brown. And I want to put brown in here too. Okay, and then we're going to get red More red. Now I need to clean my brush off a bit so I can get red without so much of the black and the brown influencing it. Let's get the orange, just put a little bit of the orange in as well. Cool. Mine has more of a spiky hairdo. I like it. Okay, I need to get a bit of yellow though, because there was still a bit of like, almost like a highlight. This bird's too cool. Like he had like a cool hairdresser or something. Up. Keep the spikes. Yeah. Okay, we gotta get those colors. Front there. Oh man! Don't get paint on me all over the place. So my waters are totally messy right now. It's not really surprising, I guess. Okay, I gotta do something in here now. Yeah, so this is a bit, has to come actually down more. So let me do that first. So noticing that this actually swoops a little bit lower and then it kind of comes up like that. Oops, that's a lot of paint on that brush. Okay, let's try it like that. Yeah, I think that's a little better. Kind of. I think it needs to swoop a little further out. That's the way this guy's gonna live. Okay, so I need to finish up some of those lines too around it. So let's tighten up here. And then now, let's put in green. That's that green element there. Okay. I'm going to put a bit of yellow. And then we're going to have white. Okay. That was weird. Okay. I'm gonna put a little bit more yellow in here. I'm going to a little bit more green. I'm going to green out more because I don't think the white is a bit too like shocking, so I'm just going to dull it out in the other colors, and I think it'll look a little bit better. And then that's a little crazy too, so I want to like bring it in. That's better, I think. Okay, so now we need to just touch up some of these lines here. So this bird, these feathers they come out from here on top of this black. Okay, I'm also noticing there's a little bit of green, like just under this line here. And we have that blue, that bright, pretty blue. Just going to touch that up again too. Do I need to have a little bit of white in that blue? Okay. I'm also noticing there's a little bit of green just under here too. I'm just going to add a little bit just there. Yep. Like that. I think this is a little, just gonna bring that down a little bit. I think. I don't know about that. It looks like one of those masks. Long roses is what it reminds me of. I guess it probably came from one of these types of birds. Realistically. I'm just gonna give them a bit more hair that kind of comes up. Well, maybe. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. I don't know. Okay. I think I'm almost done here. I'm sure there's a few more touch-ups we can do. Like I could probably put a little bit of white just on the, oh man, if the white wants to stay on my brush, I suppose. Just like, a little bit over there. Okay, I really want to put an eye on this bird, even though I can't see his eye at all. I'm going to just see if I can see it better on my picture here. Let's see if I can do it. Here, downloads, where are you? Nope. Where are you? Pretty sure I downloaded it. There we go. Okay, I can kind of see it better in this picture. Okay, so I'm going to try to do it. Put a little, so it looks like the eye kind of lives like here. And I'm going to use like my brown paint, I think, to get the circle, and I'm going to see what I can do about that. I really want to put in this eye. I'm going to use my brown and maybe like a little like brown and red to try to get like the circle of the eye. Okay. Maybe I just need to see it here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the eye's like you can't even see that. There's like a red glow in it. It's creepy. Birds are creepy, man. Like a red glow. How can you have a red, like, you know, like that makes you creepy a little bit. Okay. Then I want to put in a little dot on the eye. Make it look like it's wow, okay. My white paint is super dry. Opa. And then opa. 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 Okay, that's better. And then I'm just noticing a bit when I'm looking at the picture super close up. I do want to do a little bit more. I want to bring some of these feathers, a little bit around the eye, a little bit more around the sky. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. No. Okay. Then I want to bring the brown. With the yellow. I'm going a little rogue because I just don't like the way these feathers are looking at the top here. Okay. I'm going to go back and put some black on top just to fix it up a little bit. Okay. Yeah, that was a much clearer picture there. So that's how I did. I touched up the top part of it. It still looks different than the original picture, but that's okay. And that's how I did the eye. So you can see it a little bit close up. If you want to do an eye like that too, feel free. Loons have red eyes too. So weird, Jody. I don't trust it. Sorry. Red eyes, I don't trust it. Okay. I want to just put a little bit more like feeling here. Okay. Okay, so I did not do anything else with the flowers at the bottom here. I don't know if I want to still do that. I think I do still want to put in like some purple flowers. Because I do think they look kind of pretty. So let's do that. So I still have some paint that I don't want to waste either. So I'm just going to mix a little bit of purple and put in some random flowers. Ooh. Okay. So we have some purple in the background. Little random. Oh, not on this side, but I don't know if I want to put more. No, actually, maybe just on this side would look nicer. Okay, little purple ones. Okay, and then I just want to touch up these flowers a little bit at the bottom before I call it quits. So I'll get a little bit of stems happening. Nope. To make it a different color than the color we got. Okay. And then I'm going to touch up those yellow flowers again. A little white. I'm just going to put a few more. Okay, and I'm just going to put some more like, oof, that's not going to work very well. Gonna add a few more like kind of little lines in the background so it's like more stems or something, I don't know. Now I'm going rogue. So you don't have to do this if you don't want to. I just wanted to add a little bit more. Background. Weird background happening here. Putting like little flowers or something in the background I can't see. Ooh, cool. Okay, and then I'm going to do some more in purple too. Cute. Mm-mm. I don't know why I touched green with that one. That's weird. That looks too weirdly blobby. Okay. Yeah, I feel like my background in the top here doesn't really match what's going on down here, and like because of this like streakiness, it doesn't really match what's happening up there. So I'm going to touch it up because I don't like the way it looks right now. So again, you can stay on and watch, or you can go. I just don't really like how it's looking, and this is not what I normally would do because once we've painted, I don't like to try to paint the background again. I feel like you're kind of asking for trouble when you do that. But this is what I'm going to try to do tonight. Just to make it a bit smoother. So I feel like it doesn't really make sense. I try to have it like kind of random, but then after doing that glow, I made everything very like soft and not soft, I guess, but more like blendy and like obviously blended. Yeah, so I'm going to just do that with the rest of it instead of having that kind of blotchy background, which I initially wanted, but also now that I've just put in all those like random flowers at the bottom, I think that it doesn't make as much sense. Okay. It's a little better, and I'm just going to get in closer with the smaller brush. No, I want this one. Okay. That's not too bright. That works. And then come around this way. La, 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 la. Yeah, that's better. I feel like that all kind of goes together better. Putting a bit of white on here. I'm blending a little bit of white into some of my strokes just to make it kind of fun. Oh, thank you so much, Rula. Thanks for the stars. Much appreciated. And I think I saw, actually, I think someone did send me. Is it Maggie? Maggie, thank you so much for the coffee. I really appreciate it. That's really sweet of you. Okay, I think I'm happy with the background now. I think it makes more sense. The way it was before, I don't know, it wasn't copacetic. Now it's all going together nicely. All right, I think we're done for now. So there's the bird. There's Mr. Bird Guy. We should name him. What should we name this bird? I'm getting like a Ralph vibe. I don't know why. That feels like it doesn't make sense. But Ralph was the first name that came to me. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So yeah, that's how I did the background. So it kind of just has more painterly feel, but then it doesn't look as, yeah, I think it looks nicer like that. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's looking really nice. This kind of works nicely because it goes from lighter and it goes to darker to even darker. So that's good. That works well. The bottom is kind of weird, but I think it, again, that's not the focus, right? It just has that feeling. I'm pretty good with it. All right, so let's go back so you can see my tired face. There you go. So thank you everyone who painted along with me this evening. If you're painting along with me at a different time as well, thanks so much for painting along regardless. Again, you can watch any of this on Liza's Painting Parties on YouTube channel or under the videos tab on my Facebook page. I really enjoyed painting this. This took a little bit longer than some of our other paint parties, but still not too bad, about 2.5 hours. Pretty decent, I would say. Again, on Saturday, there'll be 3 new options for you to vote on, and the one with the most votes by the following Tuesday at noon will be the one that I will paint live on Wednesday, and we'll all paint it together, and we'll see what happens, how it comes out. I think that's about it. So thank you all so much for joining me, and have a fantastic week. Enjoy the weather. Hopefully it's nice where you are, and take care. Bye, everyone. Thanks so much.